All right, let's now shift our attention to what is happening in the state of Israel, where the Israeli Prime Minister is facing a vote to dissolve the Israeli parliament, the Knesset, on Wednesday. This as certain key coalition partners have now threatened to bring down his government. The move to dissolve the parliament has been called by the opposition, and it will only pass if Netanyahu's ultra-Orthodox coalition partners decide to break with him over his failure in passing a very controversial law that exempts the ultra-Orthodox Jewish community exemption from serving in the military. Now, this is an issue that has bitterly divided the Israelis, especially during the ongoing war in the Gaza Strip. Now, most Jewish men are required to serve nearly 3 years, followed by years of reserve duty. Jewish women serve 2 mandatory years. But the politically powerful ultra-Orthodox Jewish community, who make up about 13% of the Israeli society, have traditionally received exemptions if they are studying full-time in religious seminaries. The exemption that many seminary students receive through the age of 26 has infuriated the general secular public.
Basically, it doesn't really care about the war and the economic situation of the state and anything else but the communal interest, and the focus of this communal interest is getting the exception from serving in the army. And to the extent they don't get it, and basically they don't get it for almost 3 years already, 2.5 years since the government was established, they're saying enough is enough.
Now, after the 7th of October attack in 2023, Israel, remember, has activated, that is, mobilized about 360,000 reservists. Now, this is Israel's largest mobilization since the 1973 war. Now, many reservists have served multiple rounds of duty in the Gaza Strip, totaling hundreds of days, and some reservists are now rejecting new call-ups. The number of Israelis continuing to report for reserve duty has now dropped so low that the military is now taken to social media to try to recruit people for this ongoing war in the Gaza Strip. The threats coming from the ultra-Orthodox could, of course, be posturing, and many expect Netanyahu to, in fact, pull off a last-minute deal. But Wednesday's vote is the most serious challenge, interestingly, to Netanyahu's government since the war began, and the coalition's collapse will have major implications for Israel and also for the ongoing war. Now, ahead of voting, Netanyahu's government has been dealt with a massive blow. Britain and 4 other allies have imposed sanctions on 2 Israeli far-right ministers, that is Itamar Ben-Gvir and Bezalel Smotrich, for their repeated incitements to violence against the Palestinian people.
Well, these 2 individuals, Ben-Gvir and Smotrich, have been inciting violence against Palestinian people for months and months and months. And alongside our partners, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and Norway, today we are announcing sanctions against those individuals because we have been absolutely clear. This has to stop, and we stand for a 2-state solution, and the settler violence that we've seen in the West Bank particularly is entirely unacceptable.
Israel's Foreign Minister Gideon Saar has said that the government will hold a special meeting early next week to decide as to how to respond to these sanctions and their cabinet ministers. For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.